Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to School of Science. My name is Luke and this is just the Blue Talk. I don't know what really to call this at this point in time, but we're just going to call it the Blue Talk. So what we're going to be doing today is we're just going to talk about things that have happened over the week. So there's plenty of things, you know, like new signings, potential new signings, outgoings, rumours, stuff talking about outside of the club. We're going to talk about all that sort of stuff. So let's kick things off, shall we? So, first things first, Everton have officially announced the signing of Tim Burnham, or Tim the Silent G, as some people are going to call him, because that name, just looking at it, it hurts to try and even pronounce it. I don't know how people of the older generation, I mean, there's guys around me who are about 60, 65 years old, and they struggle with bloody Gomez and Onana. So Burnham is gonna really rattle them, so we'll just call him Tim the Silent G. So yeah, we've signed Tim G. Well, we've signed Tim Burnham from Aston Villa for a fee of about 10 million. He's come our way, and we have sold Lewis Dobbin to them for a very similar fee. I think ours was 9 million for Lewis Dobbin. Now, obviously, as people know, this has actually raised the backs of a few teams. We'll call it Man U. We'll say it's Manchester United because we know it's Manchester United. Manchester United have actually made a bit of a stink about it because what's happened is they thought they were going to be able to get Lewis Dobbin off us for a bargain basement price, and that we were just going to be helpless with it because we're going to have to pay off a huge PSR pit to try and get things all level and everything. But when we've told them, oh, actually our pit's only about 10-15 million, so we're going to sell off Lewis Dobbin to Aston Villa. We're going to buy this lad. Because we've done it in such a way, all we have to do now is sell not Lewis Dobbin. We're going to have to just sell Ben Godfrey off. And hey, happy days, we can actually keep the rest of our players. Well, for the most part, I think we're going to have to sell a couple of people, but not necessarily for the PSR reasons, but more just for the sake of trying to get the squad a little bit better. Because one of the things with the Premier League, if you are not improving, you are going backwards. You cannot have a quiet window because teams around you will be buying, purchasing and doing other stuff, and you will suffer as a result. But yeah, let's have a quick talk about Tim's style of play. So he's that of a number 8. He will link with the defence and number 6, and he pushes up the field. He also likes to attack. He has a bit of a preference for when he is attacking. He likes to sort of linger off to the left a little bit. So this is going to either be, he's going to be like a link-up point for McNeil or Jack Harrison. Depends on how we go about it. Because bear in mind, Jack Harrison is a left winger. He is a left-footed left winger. So he likes to be on that left wing where McNeil is. One of the issues is we haven't got a natural right winger yet. So having them two on the left wing is pretty much impossible. So we've had to compromise and put Harrison on the right, McNeil on the left. Now McNeil can come inside. It just depends how we'll go about this. But I'll talk about that in another video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a hypothetical lineup of the players that are coming in, going out, and we're going to talk about, you know, the likes of Minte is meant to be coming to us. Ndai, who's had his medical. We'll talk about all them in the due course. So yeah. So Tim, I'm excited to have him. He's going to be one who I'm going to say is going to be taking the place of Onana, who might potentially be going out. I've heard all different teams. I've heard Barcelona, I've heard Bayern Munich, I've heard Arsenal. I've heard a few teams are currently sniffing around Amadou Onana, and he's having a really good time at the Euros at the moment. So his price could be anywhere in the region of 50 to 60 million. So if we're able to sell him from around that, that's going to be great. That's going to help our books significantly. And hey, we could probably look at getting some potential good talent. I mean, to be honest, the players we've been linked with as of yet, these are all very exciting players, and players that I would actually be very happy to see at Everton. We're talking about players here who aren't like your bargain basement players, you know. We're not talking about your El Ghazis, your Solomon Rondons, your Schenk Tozens. These are players who have got genuine excitement about them. They have a bit of a flair, flourish, they've got a lot of speed about them, they've got a lot of power. They're Sean Dyche players to an extent. But yeah, I digress. As I've said there, so one thing to note as well is Ben Godfrey has also he's on the verge of leaving Everton for Atalanta, and apparently it's a fee of around £10 million. So pretty much that PSR hole is pretty much not an issue anymore. We've pretty much filled that right up now. I mean, if we were to lose points, any point this season, it will be for the minor of minor things. And we're talking maybe 1 to 2 points at the absolute maximum at this rate. So, with Ben Godfrey going to Atalanta, I would like to wish him the best of luck. He's going to be linking back up with the likes of Ademola Lookman, and he's going to be participating in the Champions League. So, I wish him all the best. I hope he has an amazing time there, because he is one of the players I actually did have a bit of an admiration towards, because he was a very hard-working sort of defender who could operate both left back, right back, and in the centre. And I'd say at a very, very hard push, you could probably have him as a number 6. The way he plays is very reminiscent of a number 6, if not a very defensive one. So they've got a guy on their hands who, in the right situations, could potentially be an absolute diamond for them. But yeah, so a player also as well, Ndiaye, has had a medical with Everton, and we're currently waiting on the announcement. I'm assuming at some point, I'm going to say at some point next week, we're going to hear that he's actually officially an Everton player. I'm going to make a hazard and say paperwork and everything's going to get put through on the 1st of July. I'm assuming they are hanging fire on it, and they're going to announce it on the 1st of July. Because the 30th of June is the cut-off point for certain things, and it goes into like this new transfer year or football and financial year. It's a weird old thing. I do not know how to put it, but it's a very strange one. So yeah, I'm expecting at some point in the future we're going to hear an announcement of him, and I do think they're trying to play the system a little bit. Because let's be honest, we've tried to play by the rules, fair and square, proper and everything, and it's just got us absolutely nowhere. We've unfortunately just been beaten pillar to post by following the rules properly. So now we've sort of twisted it, tried to not necessarily circumvent, but we've tried to twist and warp the rules to work in our favour, like everyone else in the Premier League. So, you know, like the player trading between Everton and Aston Villa, where we're actually sending money to and from alongside these players. We're doing a player trade, but we're also not doing a player trade, if you get what I mean. I mean, Lewis Dobbin himself is an academy graduate, in a sense. He came to us extremely young. He's come through the academy and everything. So he's one that's essentially, in a way, pure profit. I know there's been talk and everything. Everyone's going, oh yeah, when you sell one of these, it's essentially, it says it being 10 million, it's 40 million. That's not the case. 10 million is 10 million, regardless of whether it's a player who was signed 2 seasons ago from another team and then sold on, or if it is someone who's come through the ranks of the academy and then been sold on. 10 million is 10 million. So yeah. So Ndiaye, Iliman Ndiaye, he's a centre forward, just to say, I'm going to get back on track, sorry about this. So Iliman Ndiaye, that name, can we get some players with just easy names? But yeah, he's a centre forward with an absolute savage hunger for goal. He likes to pick up the ball around the midfield and charge the defenders. He has a nice little cheeky bit of skill about him as well, so he likes to actually have a little bit of a duck weave and a dive while he's got that ball. So most defenders will more than likely fall for his tricks a few times, and he's one who likes to he has a good sense of gravity about him as well. So if a defender does actually clatter him, it's very hard to put him down. He's got like I said, he's got a bit cheeky skill about him as well. He'll use a touch of flair to try and send the defenders the wrong way and leave them in the dust, essentially. So I would see him being the almost direct replacement for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So what you could potentially see is us, if we were to stick with the 4-4-2 formation, it would end up being, rather than DCL and Beto or DCL and Chimiti or something like that, it's going to be Ndiaye as your very central focal point at the top, with Beto potentially providing, because that's one of the things you want to try. If you want to try and get the best out of both players, this is probably the best way to go about it. Again, this is something I'm going to talk about more when I go into the tactical video. Like I said, hypothetical one. What we're probably going to do, this one's going to be one that's going to be around the end of July. I want to do it for, because then we're going to have a little bit more knowledge on what's going on in regards to players and everything. So yeah, so there's another fellow as well. So Yankuba Mita is looking to join. He's looking to try and get signed by Everton. He said he wants to carry on competing in the Premier League, and Everton seems to be the ideal candidate for that. So Everton and Newcastle are currently doing like a possible cash-based swap, using DCL as the player of interest for Newcastle. Apparently Newcastle want to use him as a squad player. He's a good one who might be able to fall in for the likes of Isaiah, and he'd be going back with the likes of Anthony Gordon. Now, Yankuba Minte, he's a hard-pressing right winger, so we're going to get a right winger back, yes, if we get him. He's got a superb tactical awareness about himself, as well as a nice big bag of tricks. So we've got another one who's very tricksy. So on the ball, you're very hard-pressed to find a player who's going to be able to dispossess him easily. He's got a very, very good sense of awareness about him. So he's able to move around, and he knows when he's got a player over his shoulder. He knows his passes. He knows when to move. And it's almost superhuman, the sense of awareness that he's got. Off the ball, he's a machine as well. He will push back. He likes a high press. So he likes to, if he does get dispossessed or we get dispossessed in transition, he basically will push back and offer an extra bit of pressure. He becomes an extra fullback in some situations, if to put it simply. He's very good in that regard. So you're going from having a player who's going to be operating on the right wing to someone who's becoming an immediate fullback, and because he's got an almost infinite pool of stamina, he will be able to do that for the full 90 with no issues whatsoever. Now, that's enough about the players. I'm just going to scroll down very quickly. And we're now going to talk about stuff that's been going on outside of the teams and everything. So, Friedkin Group have actually paid off MSP's loan. So, Friedkin Group are the guys who are coming in to buy Everton. And the main guy who's going to be doing it is the son of the head of the group called Dan Friedkin. Now, the guy is... how can I put this? He's awesome. He is actually awesome. He's a Spitfire pilot and someone who actually... He's had a bit of stuff with the movie industry as well. So are we going to be seeing a all of nothing Everton in the future for, you know, Amazon and whatnot? But yeah, he's not only that, he's got a very good business mind on his. He's got a very good business brain on his shoulder. Sorry if I'm a little bit stumbly today. He's a smart little cookie, and he's one. Like I said, he's got a footballing background as well. He's learned a lot from his father. And the family themselves are going to have good communication between each other. So he's basically going to be the point of contact between Everton and the heads of the Friedkin Group. I've completely forgotten the other fella's names, sorry. But yeah, he's going to be the point of contact for that. So in a sense, we are still owned by the Friedkin Group, but Dan would be our liaison between us and them. But yeah. On top of that, there's also been a little bit of work in the background for a naming rights deal for the Bramley Moor Stadium, or the new Everton Stadium, should I say. So there's been talk of something around the region of £200 million has been named and mentioned, because what's going to happen is when the stadium is done, although Everton aren't going to be going into it, there are going to be concerts and events apparently going ahead in there. So it's meant to be getting finished around November, December of this year. And then from there, there's stuff that's going to be going on before we've even moved in. So there could potentially be a couple of little concerts here and there, maybe a fight night or two, you know, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But regardless, I'm looking forward to that. I am genuinely looking forward to that, because we need to start making money on that stadium. And the fact that we're going to have naming rights coming into it, it's very positive. Everything is looking up for Everton at the moment. There was massive fears about what was going to happen this season. When our season had ended, I had a little bit of a sigh of relief, but I was also had that nagging feeling in the back of my head of, are we going to have another bad season? Are we going to have another one of those seasons? What's going to happen? I had all that sort of lurking in the back of my mind, but thankfully that is all done and dusted. So the exclusivity deal that ended with 777 has just opened up the floodgates for a massive amount of positivity coming into the club right now. We're talking about, we're losing Deadwood, so more than likely Neil Maupay, he's done and dusted. He's probably going to get sent off to a foreign league somewhere. No one in the top flight's going to touch him, in all honesty. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but he's not a player that Brentford wants or can afford, apparently. We had a price tag of about 15 million and Brentford don't want to touch him. Holgate. I'm assuming his contract's going to get ran down. Likewise with Michael Keane's. No one's really been sniffing around them. I haven't heard anything anyway. It looks like we might be, like I said, we might potentially be losing Amadou Onana. It would be a shame for us to lose him, but like I've said, Tim the Silent G is probably going to be falling into Onana's place. And if we lose Calvert-Lewin, we've got Elam there, Elam and Daihe, who's going to probably fall into his place. So at the very, very worst, Everton next season could be finishing mid-table, I would say. At the very worst, I'll probably be predicting Everton will be finishing mid-table. We are probably going to have a reasonably solid season. Also, I'm going to have to, if we do actually get rid of the players I'm talking about, this will be a relic of players gone by, because you've got 3 players there that are on the fringe of leaving Everton. That being Mason Holgate, Michael Keane, and Calvert-Lewin. So I'm going to probably have to get that replaced unless I keep it as a reminder of what can happen when we don't manage the club well. That could stay as the reminder of don't screw up again. But anyway, guys, also if you want to know about these, so Rob at Forever Everton, I had to think about that for a second. For some reason, I don't know why it is Rob, but I keep thinking follow Everton. But Rob at Forever Everton, everything, details and everything got below, has made these. As you can see, he is an extremely talented artist. He's also done a lot of apparel stuff. He makes mugs, he makes phone covers, you name it. Chances are he probably makes it. But honestly, go give him some support. He is an amazing artist, great guy, and loves to boil the piss of Copites and anyone else who annoys him as well. So yeah, if you go down there, there is also a special discount code there called Science TV 20. If you use that, you get 20% off of any of your purchases. And like I said, you're supporting not only a big Evertonian, but a really talented person who is doing everything he can to provide you the best products possible. But in any case, guys, if you like this, please hit that like button down below. If you want to share it to your friends and family, that's greatly appreciated. If you want to put anything in the comment section below, if you want to suggest anything, if you think of a different category of video that you'd like to suggest to me, whether it be tactical, rumours, transfers, anything like that, put it in the comment section below. If you want to suggest anything, honestly, I love hearing suggestions from people who watch the channel, even criticisms or feedback. That is always greatly appreciated as well, because I love my feedback. I learn from it, I'm able to get more information from things. You guys do help me so much, so I really do appreciate feedback in any way, shape or form. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget, the new Everton Stadium video is going to be coming up on Sunday at 9 o'clock. So take care, have a great week, up the fucking toffees, and peace.